You really are.
I've been DJing like 3 months now.
Listen, we should fire Kaven, right? My God, today.
I found
okay,
you.
right, I found you.
There's the attorney.
Thanks for having me. 2 poems.
Do that good one.
Shut up. Okay, so this first one is about the 4 little girls who died in the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, 50 years ago in September. It's one of the stories that emerged out of the civil rights movement my mother told me when I was small, and it was a thing I kept in my body, and I couldn't reconcile the story at all, and was finally able to write about it last year. So, Birmingham Sunday. I don't know what came loose first. A church is not made for falling in on itself. You don't build them prepared for destruction. You build them thinking about the praise shout, the hand clap, the open-mouthed communions, how many choir members can fit in the pulpit, the pancake breakfast you gonna have in the basement, and the stained glass Jesus, even in Birmingham, Alabama, 1963, when you had to account for dynamite, for waterlogged protest marchers blown clean off their feet. They fell like blood-torn right angles to foaming at the mouth, police dogs, billy clubs, and batons. If you were a colored girl in Birmingham, you knew how to duck and shrink, how to be a misspelled word, an incomplete sentence squelched down to sugar-softened press and curl perkiness. Their silence was so loud. Their teeth a locked gate, their mouths held annual sit-ins for their flame-red throats, the sizzle and spill of every unsaid thing, and it's hard to be so still. With all that starshine and playground shimmy in the stretch of our bones, but on Sundays we get it near right. The mornings roll out in hotcakes and black coffee. Daddy is a baritone down the hall singing hymns. Mama is fixing his tithe and yelling about, get on in here and eat before this food gets cold. And we get to wear our hair down. It will be curled around our ears and stopped with ribbon, and the wild hunger of Jim Crow cannot find us in church. So we're scooting around the kitchen in our pretty white shoes without a single scuff, and our sister gets to dab a little rouge on her cheeks just on Sundays, just on Sundays. And the car ride is a sovereign floating joy, because Mama can sing. And she's rolling that pretty bell-tinkle soprano out, and we're picking up the chorus where we can. And though we have to keep tugging at our slip so that it does not dip below our dress, we are still everything new and shiny that God has ever loved, and deep and high in our sometime colored girl loveliness, because Jim Crow does not seek you in church. I don't know what came loose first, but when the choir was singing, I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. And you were a wet giggle with your sister in Sunday school. The sky came down and smothered everything. Ceiling tiles flew like occasional birds, smacked the walls and smoldered. Skulls and incandescent smoke, a wild death for a young girl. A valley of broken jawbone baby teeth scattered like confetti. A stony, vexing sleep. The sun, crazy, was shining anyway. Refugeed clergy digging through the rubble, finding tiny limbs, and the world is a singed skirt. I don't know what came loose first, but it all came loose, didn't it, Addie and Denise? Didn't it, Cynthia? Didn't it, Carol? Didn't it drop winter in? Didn't it catch and keep the sky snatched low by the terrible clang of dynamite? Nobody should offer you a heaven when you hadn't even had your period yet, or been to your first dance and had the chance to gossip about it the next day, and nobody can refresh your bones. Your mama will never be the sister who could smile with all her teeth because somebody lifted a sheet and underneath it was your bomb-blasted body, and the world broke open and swallowed her whole. Things fall apart. The center will not hold, but do you hear that? Just over all that ugly, do you hear that? past the thunder crack of grief and go down Moses, do you hear that? Can't no homemade detonated nothing touch it. Just down the street, there is still rough and tumble tag and tea parties. Some little girl is still lemon cookie hula hoop and hopscotch wonderful, twirling around in her mama's old stitched and restitched skirts, and she will go to church on Sunday singing, I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. And she'll mean it. It's the first one.